Hello there. My, last time we were together, I kind of got a little plain, right? And after doing some thinking about it and praying over it, I felt like I need to come back and do a part 2, and there's even going to be a part 3. Now, let me encourage you, withhold your comments till you have listened to all 3. Then we can talk. Today, I want to give you part of my personal testimony to kind of, so you kind of get an idea why I was thinking the way I was the last time we were together. And to do that, we got to go back to March 16th, 1980. That's a red letter day in this old boy's life. Let's start on Sunday morning. I'm standing, if you walk through the door there at Midway Baptist Church and look to your right, the second pew is where I was. The invitation's being given. And I'm doing the grip the back of the pew boogie, right? My knuckles are white. I am under great conviction, and I knew it. And the devil gets in your head and he gives you all these reasons. You know the silliest reason he ever gave somebody that sat on the back row? That's too far to walk. And it gets worse from there, trust me. And by the time the argument was over, or you might even say just getting started, anyhow, the invitation's over. I left that church an angry young fellow. I remember playing basketball at a friend's house that afternoon and said, I'm not never going back to church. What has God ever done for me? I don't need that. I'm not going back up there. And yet, that Sunday night, there I was, back in church, still wearing my jeans and the same shirt I played basketball in. Still had my baseball hat sticking out of my hip pocket. I don't know if I walked up there or if I drove or if I rode with somebody. I don't know. I do know I was back at church that night. When I came to myself and realized I was back at church, I got mad. This time I kind of tried to get in the notion I was mad at the devil. I said, we'll fix this. We're going to fix this. So that night I sat on the front row. I remember saying, make that look like a 10-mile walk. And still it seemed like it took 47 verses of Just As I Am before I made the step I've never been sorry that I made. John Dye Jr. was my pastor at that time. He started crying like a baby when I stepped forward. And something changed in me that night. Let me tell you a little bit about what happened in the weeks leading up to this Sunday night I'm talking about. I'm a fellow that tried to take his own life twice. Actually, let's be plain. I could have took my own life. All I had to do was take the whole bottle of pills. But I was taking my granddaddy's painkillers and muscle relaxers. 1 over here, 3 over there, 2 over there. Trying to ration so nobody would know that pills were missing. He didn't notice nothing. Taking the whole bottle of pills, I could have been in hell right now. Taking the pills the way that I did made me kooky and crazy. To the point that I went into work at the cotton mill one day. I worked in the card room at Fairview Mill. They sent me home from work that day. They said, you're acting crazy. We can't have you down here. Like, what's the matter with you? And I said, everything. Called me in the office. The boss said, have a seat. He said, I found out later, I have no recollection of it. He said there was 4 chairs stacked one on top of the other. Instead of taking one to sit on, I just sat on all 4 of them. I can tell you stories for days about how stupid I acted. And here's the devil for you. I heard a sermon one time, in cold blood, he wants to kill you. I finally got talked into a notion of going to the doctor. My sister took me to the doctor, who prescribed me with inner ear trouble and gave me medicine with a caution, this might cause you to be drowsy. A second opportunity to just go on out into eternity. I had an angel in the house. I'll never know who it was. Somebody figured out what I was doing. Because I went back to those pills that I put on my desk up on the top shelf in the corner so I could go back and get them. A day or two later, I went back and they were gone. Neighbor, I acted stupid. I could tell you stories. I'm not going to tell them all because I'm not proud of it. And I want you to know, part of the reason I'm sitting here making this video today is because the people of Midway Baptist Church, beginning with my pastor and going all the way down, every single one of them never gave up on me. They had every right to say, you need to go get straightened out. You ain't acting right. We can't have you up in church looking like you just smoked a bunch of marijuana, or you got to get straight, then come back. They never did that. They never cast me out one time. They were the very people who surrounded me with love and said, we're going to get you through this, whatever it is. I don't think a lot of them to this day, and a lot of them's gone to be with the Lord now, I don't have any idea what I did. I'm telling you, they're hearing it. Some of them will hear it on this video and hear it for the first time. You took what? Muscle relaxers and pain pills, and could have taken more pills that the doctor gave me. Yes, in cold blood, Satan wants to kill you. He tried to kill me. And God's people are the reason that I'm still here today. Don't you ever forget that. I'm going to make the statement again. You will never, ever be the hands and feet of Jesus casting somebody out. It doesn't work that way. Jesus touched lepers. They became clean. The Pharisees said, no, it's because of your sin that's way. God, we don't want you over here. They were not wanted in the temple. We're not allowed in the temple. Jesus touched that leper. They became with skin like babies, pure skin. Jesus met a woman at a well. He wound up telling her, you're right, you're not married. And the last few fellows you lived with, you ain't been married to them either. Can you imagine what a pariah she was in her community? How she was laughed at and mocked and scorned. And people looked down on her and called her every name in the book. And yet Jesus said, it doesn't have to be that way. I'll give you living water and you'll never regret it. What did she do? She went out right then and just got the whole town and said, come and see this man. He told me everything I ever did in my life. He knows me, and he's never seen me before today, but he knows everything I've ever done. He made an evangelist out of her. I can go through scripture and show you time after time after time. What about the young man that Jesus healed? And everybody knew he'd always been the way he was before Jesus touched him. And the Pharisees and Sadducees, they called him up in the temple and did everything they could to get him to say it was not Jesus that did this. He finally said, look, I done told you one time that Jesus did this. And you're not going to listen to me if I tell you a second time. And they said to him, you are altogether born in sin. You going to teach us? And they cast him out of the temple. Who was right there? Jesus or them? Go through all of the life of Christ. Find me one time, other than the money lenders, that he ever cast out. Money lenders deserved it, padding their pockets with extra money, selling stuff for sacrifice at exorbitant prices. They need to be cast out. Jesus didn't cast anybody. Every single time that somebody came to him, a woman just wanted to touch the hem of his garment. She said, if I can just touch him, I'll be healed. What do you say to her? Your faith has made you whole. I'm talking about undesirable people. The world don't want anything to do with, and sadly, too many times the church don't want anything to do with. What a crying shame before God. I'm going to leave the hush right here in just a minute. I love you today. Christian brother, wherever you are, I love you. But we got to be the church. There are no excuses. No excuses for not being the hands and feet of Jesus in a day where the entire world, you know how many people in this world want to shoot me right between my eyes right now just for the high crime of being a Christian and think they're doing God's will. In a world like that, imperfect Christians who fall into temptation don't need to be cast out. They need to be embraced. They need to be loved. How many people are we going to lose? How many people are just going to stomp away from the church and say, if that's all it is, I don't need that. Don't want that. Won't have that. Is that the way we want to be remembered? Be the hands and feet of Jesus. Bring healing. Bring new life. Rejuvenation, rededication. Bring it in your hands with love, with compassion. Jesus did it that way. We don't have any right to expect that we all do it any other way than the way he did it. You have a great day. I know that was plain. Remember, listen to all three parts. And if you want to talk, next time we talk, within the next week or so, I'll have a post office box for my friends out of town. You want to write to me and share your heart with me, I'll have a post office box you can use. I'll be giving you that information probably about 2 videos from now. Okay? You have a great day. Go out there and make a difference. Better yet, honey, be the difference. Be the difference. God bless your heart. I love you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.